Just another normal week in paleontology. No happening out of the ordinary. Nothing exciting happening. Just how I like it. Just a normal week.
Oh, wasn't there that Spinosaurus mirabilis discovery out there?
Oh, it's not Mosasaur related, so I'm not too fussed.
Yeah, but your audience might want you to talk about it.
Oh, maybe I'll eventually do a video on it. Are you in this video or not?
No.
But what are you doing here then?
For my own ego.
True, but I'm going to do this solo, okay?
Alright, you crack on then. Go on then.
Alright. How's it going, everybody? Tethysaurus Yorkshire here, and we're going to do the final stretch of the Mosasaur common names. We're in the final stretch, which means we're going to tackle the Mosasaurines, you know, the Mosasaurini, if you like, possibly. Some of them I'm not so sure about, but, you know, the future is a funny thing with taxonomy, as we've seen that Mosasaur taxonomy is definitely funny. Not in a good way, though. But anyways, let's crack on. Alrighty, so the few we're going to talk about today, well, the first one, we've got a really cool one, actually. This one was actually discovered in the stomach contents of a Prognathodon Chiander, and that is Bentiabosaurus jacobsi from the Lower Maastrichtian of Angola. Probably no idea how big this animal would have been. I think maybe 5 meters, I'd suggest. It seems to be an animal maybe closely related to Plotosaurus, but I don't know how strong that is of a phylogenetic signal, but we'll see what happens in the future. But really interested in this one, but because he's more possibly closely related to Plotosaurus, what I've done is I've taken a sort of more morphological description for the common name. So the common name is going to be the Angolan long-nosed lizard, because I've got a feeling this animal is going to have a longer nose if it's going to be, you know, more closely related to Plotosaurus, which we'll get into later because that one's a weird one. But yeah, for the first one, I could have gone for something funny because it was found in some contents of a Prognathodon Chiander, but I'm not funny. Anyway, should we crack on with the next one? Because I'm not funny at all. Right, okay, so Mosasaurus conodon, or Achitosaurus conodon. Yeah, interesting, this one. From the Maastrichtian of New Jersey, Maryland, two formations. Yeah, a couple of specimens. Interesting one, interesting this one. I should probably do a video on Mosasaurus conodon, because it is an interesting species, actually. One of the smaller Mosasaurus species, about 7.5 meters, you know, 7.5 meters, I should say, not 7 to 5 meters, that's the wrong way around. But yeah, sizable animal, not big for a Mosasaurus, but big in terms of other mosasaurs. So for Mosasaurus conodon, or Achitosaurus conodon, this is a bit of a weird one. So if it's a Mosasaurus, I've gone for Eastern smooth-tooth marine lizard, because this animal had particularly smooth teeth compared to other Mosasaurus species, but hook-like teeth as well, very hook-like teeth. And because it's found on the eastern side of the United States, it's eastern. It's pretty easy, isn't it? Yeah, it's eastern, it's that way, it's that way. Well, in my world, a bit that. I don't know which is my left and right on videos. But if this animal is Achitosaurus, and because it used to be Mosasaurus but isn't Mosasaurus but looks a bit like a Mosasaurus, I've gone for false American cachalot dragon, which is kind of a bit of a spoiler for for Mosasaurus, but yeah, I'll let you work that one out. Well, pretty easy to work that one out. But yeah, Eastern smooth-toothed marine lizard or false American cachalot dragon. Really cool, that. Really cool for a taxonomically weird Mosasaur. I'm getting Prognathodon vibes again. Don't like that. Okay, so Plotosaurus. Well, Plotosaurus, Maastrichtian of the United States. Interesting size variation. I think the first specimen was about 9 meters. The second specimen was about 13 meters. So T-Rex size mosasaur. Again, pretty common that for some reason. So Plotosaurus, really weird. Interesting though is that it's built like an ichthyosaur. Pretty much the most aquatically adapted mosasaur of all mosasaurs, really. So this one had a bit of a, I had some interesting thoughts on the common name for this one, but I think this one works, and you'll actually see why in a bit. So we've got the false fish lizard, because ichthyosaurs are fish lizards. Plotosaurus looks like an ichthyosaur, but it's not an ichthyosaur, so it's false. So false fish lizard, yeah, you get what I mean? Yeah, that's a pretty cool name, isn't it? It's funny. It's good. Yeah. But basically what I'm trying to say is that Mosasaurs were almost about to do it better than Ichthyosaurs. Why? Because Mosasaurs are just better than Ichthyosaurs. I'm sorry, guys, but Ichthyosaurs got to the Cretaceous and then just fizzled out. Mosasaurs, they went down in fiery death when that meteorite just boom, baby. Yeah, it took a space rock to take us out. Ichthyosaurs, you got taken out by sharks and fish. Cry about it. Okay, so when I was talking about that false thing, it actually relates to Plotosaurus and Mosasaurus conodon with Plesiotylosaurus crescendens. So this animal lived from about 70 to 66 million years ago, so the Maastrichtian, actually in the same place as Plotosaurus, so probably around the same age as well. So they lived at the same time probably. I reckon they filled different ecological niches. But smaller than Plotosaurus, only about 6 meters in length, so even smaller than Tylosaurus, which was, it's kind of say, hey, it's nearly Tylosaurus. It's not, it's a Mosasaurini. Got it totally wrong. So for this fella, because he's a Plesiotylosaurus, so not a true Tylosaurus, not even closely related to Tylosaurus, not even, didn't even make the effort. Unbelievable, Jeff. So I've gone for false ram-nosed lizard. Now you probably noticed the pattern there. And this is the interesting part. So, Plotosaurus, Mosasaurus conodon, and Plesiotylosaurus seem to be recovered together as a bit of a little group. So, I'm calling these the false group, the false Mosasaurian group, even though they are true Mosasaurians, in which case we've got a crocodilian situation where the crocodilians are actually in Pseudotsuki, but Pseudotsuki means, yeah, you get what I mean, it's really, really daft. But I've got a feeling that these animals are actually, in the future, going to phylogenetically show that they are a true group, and we're going to have to come up with an interesting name for them. We can't do Plotosaurini, I believe that one was already taken, but then it's invalidated, so maybe Plesiotylosaurine. So just the false lizards. Just the false Mosasaur lizards. That's good enough. So this big marine lizard is pretty much Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but as if he was a Mosasaur. So Mosasaurus from the Campanian Maastrichtian of New Zealand. Probably only about 5-6 meters in length, so a relatively sized animal. I believe this one does fluctuate a bit between the genus Mosasaurus and its own genus, or it did for a time, but I do believe it's its own genus now. But Mosasaurus, and this is where it's going to be a bit of a limp ending, kind of like the Ichthyosaurs. So I keep digging that grave, don't I? I keep digging out the grave. Eventually, someone's going to come along and bonk me on the head because I talked too much about Ichthyosaurs, and not in a good way. But for Mosasaurus, I thought just Mosasaurus would be a really good common name for it, really. It's straight to the point, there's no theatrics about it. Mosasaurus rolls off the tongue really well for a common name as well. And yeah, it's really good. I think it made Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson really happy with that one. But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was Maui, and Moana was the lass in the film. You can tell I don't really watch my Disney films. But anyways, lads and lasses and ladies, so that was part 1 of the final stretch. So we've covered these Mosasaurini. Next episode, we're going to cover the Mosasaur himself, the big lad himself, with quite a few different species that might not be the same genus. Prognathodon? No, Mosasaurus. So anyways, guys, I hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you later. Ta-ra.